Yes, welcome back to 3R News Show on our signature segment of the show, See the Stories. But before we delve into our talk show, I'm curious, Alia.
Yes.
Have you ever participated in a competition when you were in college?
Other than those competitions during the Indonesian Independence Day, the 17-an, right?
Okay.
Well, I did this competition called Abang None Jakarta, the pageant.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a pageant because it's basically training the people who joined it to be the spokesperson of Jakarta. So you ought to be able to talk about how to promote the culture of Jakarta, what's in Jakarta, be the local, but as well as being able to speak to the international audiences like the ambassadors, for example. So yes, it is quite challenging.
It is
an experience. What about you?
To be honest, I think during college, I think after college, I participated on a competition. I think we both also
joined the same competition.
Yes, it's
I'm glad I was in the same year as you were. Otherwise,
Putri Indonesia. Yes. But talking about competition, our guests today are a university student who represented Indonesia at the World Universities Debating Championship in Panama.
Yes, and they returned home with two prestigious achievements, namely the English as Foreign Language Champion Award and the Bobby Andika Ruitang Award. Without further ado, joining us in our studio, Rachel Chen, Jennifer Marcelin Chen from Binus University, and Ramazan Bayram Sofiano, as well as Francisca Anastasia Hutabarat from Universitas Kristen Indonesia. Good evening. Thank you for coming, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And congratulations for the championship that all of you were representing for Indonesia. So tell us first, how did you get involved with debate? What's so interesting about debate for all of you? Who would like to start?
Oh, okay, I'll start.
Okay.
I think the reason why I joined the debate club was just because I was trying to find friends.
Oh, that's a good motivation.
Yes, I was trying to find friends who can speak English. I wanted to find people who can think and converse with, diverse topics, whether it's fun, simple topics or maybe something that is controversial. I really like to think and exchange opinions. And my friend was the one who recommended me that there is a debate club in my campus. And she said, I think you might be interested. And then I joined. And apparently my coach was the one who motivated me to say, and she was the one who pushed me saying that, I think you do really good in competitions.
Oh,
and I said
wow.
Yes. So yeah.
Okay. What about the others? What about you, Rachel? I mean, is it something that you have been, Rachel, is this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jennifer. What about you, Jennifer? Is it something that you've been liking, like even before college? And then you sort of like polish your ability and during your university year, or how is it like for you?
Actually, I've only started debating seriously during university. But before that, I've been really interested in lots of public speaking. I've done a lot of, in my school, I did a lot of competitions with speech. But then maybe it could translate somewhat to debating. And then during my second semester, I tried to join the community because I wanted to try something new. And I wanted to, same like Francisca, find a lot of friends, who can think alike and, can converse really deeply in certain topics and all of those stuff. Yeah, it has been really, really fun.
Yeah. That's nice. All been fun. And for Rama, is it something that is life-changing, or is it something that, adds more value to your life, or how is it like? Debate for you?
For me, it's a life-changing moment, especially in our university. When I joined in 2021, I was actually the first batch of the student unit. It's actually a new student unit organization called UKI Debating Union. We were just formed for 3 months, and I was still a freshman. I was still quite introverted, and somehow I want to change myself to become a little bit, talk more, because I have a lot to say. So, and I was like, okay, maybe debate is my place. And then I met a lot of people from across Indonesia, eventually met a lot of people abroad internationally, going to Panama for 36 hours flight. I think that is the longest journey of my life. So it's not just about the debating per se, but it's about the journey in the community and teaching. For me, I'm also a debate coach, so it's also a career-changing moment for me. Thank you so much.
Okay, and for you, Rachel?
I guess my personal experience is a bit different from Kak Siska, Kak Jen, and Kak Rama because I actually joined debate since high school in late 2020 because I have an English debate organization back in high school called Maulers. And I started debating in varsity again in 2024. I think it's in early 2024. And I was pretty lucky because there was already an existing debate community with Kak Jen in it. So it's easy for me to find a debate partner. And most importantly, I also already have a coach. His name is Kak Batara. He's a international level coach, which is extremely amazing and definitely guided us to be able to stand in this current position.
Okay,
Interesting. Yes.
But we're curious at the WUDC, which countries are considered as the toughest competitor and why? So maybe you, Siska, or
I'll go first.
Yeah.
For Uki, we faced a few from Canada. I think what made them really unique was they gave very specific examples, but it's not too extreme.
Yeah.
It was a hint of variety. They weren't too aggressive. It was very easy to follow. And I think it's those types of speeches that we have to be wary about because we tend to be entranced in their speech and their way of speaking. And then we forgot that like, oh, we're actually competing. And we have to listen to them, like try and find, fill in the blanks, which parts that we can actually counter their argument. And I think it was from Canada where they really explained that debate is more about listening rather than just saying all of the bunch of arguments. They're trying to win because they're trying to prove that their argument is probable and not because they're the most aggressive and the most fluent in the room. So yeah.
And for the Business University?
For us, since we met lots of Australian teams as well, I think they're also, aside from Canada, is one of the toughest teams as well because firstly, from their vocabulary that they use is very vast, right? The way that we, as English as a foreign language speaker and English as a primary language speaker speak is very different. So from that way, inherently to track their speech and to understand the meaning of the impact of their speech, for example, is also something that is very tricky. That is firstly why they're very tough, but also secondly, since they're stylistically, in terms of the way that they speak, they give lots and lots of layers to how they speak, right? So they give like, probably could be, I'm exaggerating, but like 20 reasons of like why a certain stuff is bad or why a certain stuff is good. And that makes it so difficult for us to counter every single reasonings that they give to us. I guess, that's the reasons.
I guess that's a very good point. I mean, as I learned from you, we know that debating is not only trying to be the most aggressive and trying to, defend our argument, but also listening to the counterpart or the other team, right? So from all these experiences, from your point of view, what are the factors that actually determine, a debater to be the best in the competition? Is it because of the speaking ability? Is it because of the aggressiveness? Is it because of the mentality? Is it because of the cause? So what is it?
I think there's multiple factors that could contribute to a win or a lose in debate, but I think there's mainly three things that we could highlight. First of all is the content of our speech. I think we got this a lot from our coach. We need to prove mainly three things inside a speech for that argument to run. Like first is the argument true, second is the argument likely, and thirdly is the argument important. And then I guess the second thing is in terms of your delivery. And this is where English proficiency becomes very important and acts as a very huge role inside English debating because it really depends on your style, it really depends on the way you structure your speech, the wordings that you choose. It could really impact the depth of analysis that you have and how those arguments or those ideas would be captured by the adjudicators or the judges inside debate. And lastly, I think it's probably the manner in terms of how confident you are when you're explaining your argument or what are the punctuations that you use, how much do you stop inside your speech and things like that could really contribute to whether or not you are persuasive when you're delivering your arguments.
Yeah, because I've seen some Indonesian debaters, for example, what they did was they read the paper when they tried to give out the arguments, and they didn't even look at anybody's eyes.
Yes.
So it's basically not communicating at all. It's just like saying, blah, this is my argument. So is it something that you also look for, betterment perhaps in the future for Indonesian debating team, let's say?
Of course, yeah. I think positioning yourself in a room is very important, right? If you're not confident in what you speak and how you think, it will definitely influence how people would react to your arguments and words. They would think that, oh, I don't think she actually believes what she's trying to say because she's not acting or like putting a confident face, right? So I think positioning yourself in a room is very important, but we're not trying to promote boasting and being overconfident, because I think as a debater, you need to understand that obviously there are always room for improvement, right? But I think once you especially when we participate in WUDC, I think being confident and saying that like I deserve to speak and represent my country, and I think that's very important, especially to inspire other Indonesian delegates in the future.
Oh, but of course, yes.
And how can someone develop love for debating and start enjoying it? Maybe Rahma?
Yeah, I think for me,
As an introverted person.
as used to be introverted
Yeah.
person, I think it's more like first you don't really love the debate, but it's more like loving the topic that you want to talk about, or at least have something that you like. Maybe some people like politics, some people like law, some people like entertainment. That all of them can be accommodated in debate, because this debate is called English parliamentary debate. So the motion can be very fast. We will see in the next segment for teaser. So for me, it's more like about first you have to love a topic or love a certain thing, and maybe you have to speak out about it. I still remember my first ever coaching session. It wasn't about, oh, you have to speak right now. It's more about, let's talk about something. I still remember my coach, Bang Herto, talking about lonely death in Japan. And he was like, let's talk about lonely death situation in Japan. What do you think? So it's more like about expressing what you're feeling about a certain thing, and then you can translate it into a speech.
How big is the emotional factor into a debate? Are you allowed to be emotional? This is just out of my curiosity.
It's actually allowed. If you see like a lot of videos in debating, maybe it's very rare, but there's this one moment where the debater literally cries during a round, because the motion was about grieving. And we were all debating that motion in the semi-final of NUDC, which is the National University Debating Championship. And a lot of people are crying literally in the round.
So he got a good grade in it. I mean, he got a good point in it. Or she. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. And for the next, see the stories, we will continue after the break, and we'll resume our talk about debate, and also we'll try to do a debate simulation.
Are you saying we?
We also.
Man, okay, we'll
Do
try.
you dare to do that?
Well, yeah, we have to. This is our job. But we've got the expert. So yes.
Okay, so don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere.